Learn about Kazakhstan's most picturesque places and natural wealth. Kilometers on the road, difficult routes, and the most exciting journey of this year. It starts right now. We will visit amazing places that will not leave even the most sophisticated tourist indifferent. Travel through the land of Kazakhstan with us. Our hosts have already outlined the first route, and they decided to start with the Almaty region with its unique natural landscapes, many historical and cultural attractions. To see as many places as possible, Zhuldyz and Antoine decided to split into two teams. Well, we wish a safe journey. Bayankhol Gorge is the first destination of the first film crew. The distance from Almaty is 350 kilometers. The journey will last 7 hours. Very soon the pearls of Tian Shan Mountains will unfold in front of our eyes with all their glory. We have already traveled 250 kilometers. We are now not far from the Kazakh River. This is a unique place that separates the northern and central Tian Shan Mountains. The Bayankhol Gorge is located on the northern macro slope of the central Tian Shan. Its length from the river head to the Tekas Valley is 70 kilometers. On the way, the expedition members were blown away by the incredibly beautiful natural places, so they took some great photos. You slide through these mountains, then you pass them, and you suddenly find yourself in a canyon. Once you pass the canyon, you find this vast steppe with its horses. Where else can you find such a splendid landscape? Naturally, such trips into the wild feature steep climbs, winding slopes, and off-road routes. Therefore, taking this route on a regular automobile is not recommended, but a prepared off-road vehicle is a different story. Below the Kapshigai Reservoir, the riverbed passes through a rocky canyon, sometimes reaching a depth of 300 meters. On the left bank stretches the picturesque steppe, turning into the Moinkun Desert, and on the right stretches the westernmost spur of the Jungarian Alatau, the ridge of Malai Sari. This picturesque place with huge cobblestones and slippery stones is called Tamgaly, which in Kazakh language means stones with signs. Best time to visit Tamgaly is spring and autumn, and the travel time is only 2 hours from Almaty. According to a local legend, in the old times, a caravan could not cross to the other side of the Ili River. Then there was an earthquake, and huge stones started falling from the mountains, which formed a natural bridge. The pilgrims who were there considered this a blessing from the gods. Research in Tamgaly began at the end of the 19th century. In 1975, Shokan Walikhanov made sketches of the area. Then researcher Alexei Pozdneyev gave a detailed description of the rock inscriptions and drawings in the newspaper of the Russian Geographical Society. So old Turkic runic letters of the 8th, 9th centuries were found among 1,000 petroglyphs. This is a real ancient art gallery. Unknown artists of several historical eras left their creations here. In the meantime, our presenter Altyn is nearing the magnificent landscapes of the Bayankol Gorge. Well, we are just a step away from a wonderful place, Bayankol Gorge. To go further, we need to show a pass at the border zone, because the border with China is very near the Bayankol Gorge. China is just behind these mountains. If you decide to travel here, you should apply for a pass to visit the gorge at least 1 month before the expected date of arrival. Well, now is the time to find out what makes this place attractive for so many tourists. The Bayankol Gorge does not need additional promotion because it is located on the main and only trail leading up to the peak of Tamgaly. Peak Tamgaly is world famous among the tourists and mountain climbers. The Bayankol Gorge features wide green valleys, majestic spruce forests that surround the space from all sides, mountain lakes and rivers. It is interesting that it is from here that one can personally see the highest peak in Kazakhstan, the Tamgaly Peak. Its height is 7,010 meters above sea level. In addition, other well-known peaks of our country are well observed from here. For example, the Marble Wall, the Semyonov Peak, Peak of the 11 and many others. While Altyn explores every corner of the picturesque Bayankol Gorge, Zhuldyz is trying to understand why scientists cannot come to one conclusion in regards of the origin of the petroglyphs. It turns out it is not so simple. Buddha is depicted on the central rock of the Tamgaly Tass. The rock art dates to the 14th to 16th centuries. The drawings are carved out on the rock, and this place is considered a Buddhist temple in the open air. At the moment, there are several hypotheses of their appearance. According to one of them, the pilgrim caravan that we have already mentioned before was a Buddhist mission, and after the earthquake, the pilgrims left the images of Buddha and Bodhisattva on the rocks. The second hypothesis that the rock arts were made by the Kalmyks, because many inscriptions were made in a clear letter or Todobichig, a language created in the 17th century by the Buddhist monk Zaya Pandita. This type of writing was widely spread among the Oirat Mongols and Kalmyk tribes. We are in the heart of the Bayankol Gorge, and this is a unique place, because it is sunny over there and raining here. I'm here in rubber boots that are already wet. Here you need to be ready for anything, because hail, rain, snow, everything is possible here even in summer. If you are thinking of coming to Bayankol, be sure to bring the necessary gear and clothes. I highly recommend doing that. The Bayankol Gorge is located at an altitude of more than 2,000 meters above sea level, so you really want to breathe with a full chest here, because in the clean, fresh mountain air there is no hint of exhaust gases or dust, and this is the first thing any city dweller will appreciate. But what is difficult to get used to right away is a special mountain climate. I would call this place the Giant Stones. They are really huge. And moving from stone to stone, it's not so easy. but here you feel very calm in harmony with the nature among these majestic stones. The images of Buddhism deities were made in places which had a special energy, the so-called places of power. People could feel the extraordinary rise in energy in such places, as they felt in the Tamgaly tract, and our ancestors came here to get a charge of vivacity and health. And now the locals believe that they can lean against the hewn Buddha and any disease will be cured. Whether this is so, you can check for yourself by visiting this unique historical and natural site on the banks of the magnificent river Ili.
Тамгалы таз – это, пожалуй, самое известное место с наскальными рисунками, с петроглифами.
The cave paintings of the Tamgaly Taz are perhaps one of the world's most famous rock art. Controversy around it still continues. Even the great Kazakh poet and activist Olja Sureymenov, in his book titled The Clay Book, jokes about Tamgaly Taz, saying that some 30 years ago, one historian carved out some ancient-looking writings on the rocks, then he discovered them for the world. Nevertheless, thorough analysis of these petroglyphs have now been made. Here, these images of Buddha were made in the 18th century, apparently by Dzungarian priests who were Buddhists. Our journey continues. Anton and the first film crew will continue their journey, so stay with us. Here flows the river Bayankol, which originates from Kazakhstan's most famous peak, Kantengri. Well, then of course other water sources also flow in. It's very slippery here. And all this together then forms a very significant tributary of the Tekes River. Our film crew has set up the tents and continues to explore this scenic place with interest. Through the centuries and in the stream of history, many details were erased and forgotten, which could have fully revealed the whole flavor and atmosphere of this area, but some legends have survived to this day. The elders say that several hundred years ago, not far from here, there lived a rich and powerful Bai. He wanted to marry his beautiful daughter to another old rich man, but the girl's heart belonged to a poor Jigit. The young people decided to run away from home to be able to be together. But the girl's father sent an army after them, and they were quickly returned and separated. Unable to endure the suffering of the separation, the guy turned into a rock and the girl into a river. Since then, this turbulent river water symbolizes the bitter of the tears of the broken love. It is interesting that this very river Tekes flows directly to China, to the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. But there the river is called Kunges. Further it makes a circle and rushes westward, back to Kazakhstan in the form of the famous Ili River. The Bayankol River is so turbulent, cold and of a marble shade. They say because it washes away a huge amount of minerals. The water is cold, mineral, crystal clear. Listen, we should take a dive. Right now? Yes! The Bayankol River separates the Turksey-Alatar Ridge from the central Tian Shan. It changes its name several times, only after merging with the river Ashutor it becomes Bayankol. While Anton is swimming in mountain rivers, our second film crew is now discovering the uncharted corners of our country's land. Let's find out what new Zhuldyz has learned and found. As you can see around the mound, there are stones of human height. According to a legend, the grander and higher rank was the defeated enemy, the higher the stones were placed on their mound. Altyn Emel National Nature Park, located in the valley of the river Ili, was founded on April 10, 1996. in order to preserve the unique nature, archaeological monuments, and endangered species of plants and animals. On the territory of the park, with a total area of 520,000 hectares, one can see various landscapes, from mountains to desert. Flora of the Altyn Emel has about 2,000 plant species. Among them, 21 species are listed in the Red Book of Kazakhstan. About 60 species are endemics of the Jungarian Alatau and Ili-Balkhash basin. The pride of the national park is a large population of kulans, gazelles, and przewalski horses.
Развитие туризма, в том числе охотничьего туризма, экологического.
Development of tourism, including ecotourism, creates alternative, more rational ways of using wildlife resources for the benefit of the local residents. No country has been successful in preserving its nature with the methods of prohibition. The preservation methods work only when the interests of nature conservation, preservation of wild animals, go along with the interests of the local residents. The film crew is heading to the village of Basshi, where the central manor of the Altyn Emel National Park is located. Here you need to pay for the entry to the park. Using tents in the park is tariffed separately. The first and must-see point is the Beshatir necropolis, located between the Chulaktau Mountains and the Kapshagai Reservoir, 3 kilometers away from the Ili River.
Курганы Бешатыр — это была ставка племенных вождей саков. Здесь была столица.
Beshatir mounds were the headquarters of the tribal leaders of the Sakas. Here was the capital of a powerful state in the times before Common Era.
Политику, военную, соотношение сил всего тогдашнего цивилизованного мира.
The Sakas played a big role in the politics, geopolitics, and the military power balance of the entire civilized world. Back then, there was neither Europe nor America, but there was a civilization here. This place is very valuable, precious, and impressive. Many foreign tourists and Kazakh people who come to Almaty all try to come here too. The name Beshatir is translated from Kazakh as 5 tents. The mounds were investigated in the middle of the last century by the Semirechynsk archaeological expedition led by Kemal Akishev. The Beshatir necropolis is considered the relic of the ancient Sakas who lived in the 1st millennium BC on the territory of Kazakhstan. Here on the area of 2 square kilometers, there are 18 royal mounds, with some of them reaching 70 meters in diameter and 20 meters in height. The burial house had a 5-meter-long entrance corridor and a doorway through which the deceased was carried in. The mysterious detail of the Beshatir structures are the underground tunnels dug deep in the bedrock. This detail of the Saka tombs is similar to the features of the Egyptian pyramids. Mounds were looted in antiquity, but in one of these small graves, scientists discovered traditional arcanarchs, daggers, harnesses, golden and agate jewelry. Climbing up the gorge Bayankol in the direction of Lake Bayankol, we came across the hunting ground Shindalsan Bayankol. Well, naturally, we asked the locals to tell us about how they live here. This is a great place to hunt. There are a lot of wild animals. Tourists from all over the world come here every year. For example, we have frequent guests from Germany. In addition to hunting, you can go fishing, walk around, take great pictures, and just the very possibility of getting closer to nature gives a lot of positive emotions. Now, many people live in a state of constant stress, but nature heals. This hunting area covers a territory of about 80,000 hectares. The fauna is represented by a large variety of animals. Among them are red deer or morals, Tianshan argali, Siberian ibex, roe deer, wild boars, Tianshan bears and wolves. Some animals are under state protection. Therefore, hunting for them is prohibited. According to the local huntsman, Zhuldyz receives tourists and hunters from the US, Germany, Spain, Austria, Switzerland, France, and many people across Kazakhstan. Around the primeval nature, this is a small cozy corner for a good rest. And the most interesting thing is that there is a whole hotel for tourists who are engaged in hunting. Well, we could not get past it and asked to show us the inside. This is another part of this hotel, in the national style, made with love. In case you want to have a good rest, to hunt in Zhuldyz and Antoine, you are welcome. And how much does it cost? You may ask, Yakabulan, how much does it cost? About 100 to 200,000 per week. 1 to 200,000 tenge to stay in this amazing place. The traditional hospitality of the locals often steals hearts of the travelers.
Вот у нас есть курс! Как много! Ребята!
We have curd. Fresh, organic from Bayankol.
Баянкольский. Даже попробовать
You have to
надо.
try.
Самый натуральный
The
вкус.
most delicious curd I've ever tried.
Окей, жақсы.
So good. Thank you.
Рахмет, Тати.
И сейчас на наших глазах идет вот смена вот этой
There is a change in environmental management happening before our eyes. Locals are beginning to benefit from various types of tourism like ecological, agricultural, nature tourism and hunting. After all, there is nothing wrong with hunting. It is in compliance with all the laws and regulations and does not impose danger of extinction on the animal species. The local people are beginning to receive economic benefits from the natural resources, and rightly so.
Рационального использования природных ресурсов. И это правильно, это хорошо.
Tract Jakulak in the Bayankol Gorge is another place worth visiting. It has a gold mine located 30 kilometers away from here. There is no paved road that can take us there, only an old dirt road on a constantly gaining altitude. The route is often blocked by the stone debris, so be prepared to walk part of the way. After arriving at the destination, you will find yourself at 3,000 meters above sea level. Experienced travelers say it's worth it. The emotions and impressions after visiting this picturesque gorge today have exceeded our expectations.
Мы остановились в этом ущелье на ночлег, разбили лагерь.
We stayed here overnight, camped, slept in tents, well, lived in field conditions, let's say.
Конечно, природа впечатляет.
Of course, the nature is impressive. The Tian Shan mountains are impressive. And in the morning we had a wonderful view of the Kantengri peak.
Замечательный вид на пик Хантенгри. Хотелось бы еще отметить, наверное,
I would also like to know the flora and fauna of this place. We saw badgers and mountain goats.
увидели и горных козлов.
Of course, for people who are engaged in wildlife photography, who love nature, for eco-tourists in general, I think this place can be of great interest.
Я думаю, это место будет представлять высочайший интерес.
So today, our film crew headed by Zhuldyz and Antoine visited the picturesque gorge of Bayankol, an unusually cozy and colorful corner of Tian Shan. We also visited the incredible ancient rock paintings and the open-air Buddhist temple. The original tract of Tamgaly generally shared with us a part of its wisdom and tranquility, allowing us to peacefully continue our journey across the expanses of our native country. Legends of Tamiris and Spargatis, like the revived pages of forgotten history textbooks, stood before our eyes in the Valley of the Kings, the largest Saka burial site in the Eurasian continent, called Beshater. And we continue to discover the unexplored Kazakhstan. And you can follow our journey through the country of the Great Steppe in the social media with the help of a hashtag acrossthekazakhland.